Hey everyone, Johnny here. Don't speak news. News we're not supposed to speak about. And today I've got some war news again, as it looks like the USS Abraham Lincoln is going to be used as bait. Bait for what? Well, to bait Iran to shoot their missiles and blow it up. Because it has no destroyer escorts. It's moved within range of Iranian missiles. So what else could be the reason? They're using this as bait, in my opinion. So here we go. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier has been moved to within 250 kilometers of Iran's coastline and hypersonic anti-ship missiles with no destroyer escorts to protect it. The map below shows the approximate location of the aircraft carrier, right over here in the Sea of Oman. The most obvious reason is that the U.S. is baiting Iran to attack and maybe even sink our ship. If the U.S. loses an aircraft carrier, Congress will declare war on Iran and Americans will go fight to secure Israel, which is what the goal has been since Israel committed a sneak attack upon Iran at the end of February. Israel starts a fight with a neighbor they can't defeat, then gets the USA to wage the fight with American blood and treasure, while the Israelis sit back and laugh at the stupid Goyim dying for Israel. So at 12:55 p.m., he says, I've just been informed that a second aircraft carrier, the USS George H.W. Bush, our newest carrier, has now taken up a position even closer to Iran's coastline, 170 kilometers from Iran's hypersonic anti-ship missiles. The George H.W. Bush is being escorted by two destroyers, apparently, right here. So here they are, both getting themselves within firing range. There are about 5,000 sailors and Marines on each of those two aircraft carriers, by the way. That's 10,000 men in total, apparently being used as bait. That's the way I see it too, guys. That's the only reason I can think of they've moved that close. That's the only reason. So are we really going to go that route? It looks like it. And then when you think about it, this would free up Trump to use whatever weapons he feels fit, whether that be nuclear weapons, hyperbaric weapons, maybe that Rod of God space weapon. Remember that one that they used in China a few years back? That's back, I don't know, probably 6, 7 years ago now. But yeah, it could be any of those things or a combination thereof. But that's the only reason I can think of that they're putting those carriers that close, especially the Lincoln with no escort at all. So we'll have to keep our eyes open. Who knows what will actually happen? Iran may not take the bait. We'll have to see what happens. Just keep our eyes open like we always do. Now, over here at don'tspeaknews.com, I put this up this morning. Russia massive attack. Kiev regime hides depleted uranium ammunition in the capital suburbs. So, well, that's a really good idea. Let's put a bunch of depleted uranium ammo inside of the suburbs of the capital. Russia surely won't bomb those. Well, they just did. And the results are catastrophic. There's radiation now leaking throughout those suburbs because of the weapons that have been stored there. So now Russia recently launched a massive attack on the Ukrainian capital, hitting various military and industrial facilities in Kiev. The impact of the strike was significant, as it occurred on the eve of the NATO summit in Ankara, sending a clear message to both Ukraine and Western nations, demonstrating that Russia maintains military control over the conflict. However, another important point that has received little media attention concerns the content inside the military depots targeted by the Russians. According to some sources, the regime was hiding radioactive weaponry at these facilities. And I've been wondering why I've been seeing reports about radiation, like Chernobyl-type radiation, leaking around Kiev. Like it was another Chernobyl-type situation is what some people were saying on Telegram. But I couldn't verify any of it until I got this story. In a recent interview, Ukrainian journalist and former lawmaker Igor Musachuk stated that Russia had struck a depot where Ukrainian forces were storing depleted uranium munitions. The depot is located in the Kiev suburb of, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. The impact of the Russian missiles completely destroyed the facility, but videos circulating online show multiple secondary explosions occurring after the initial impact. The footage sparked suspicion among internet users prompting Mosyuchuk to comment on the matter. According to the journalist, the depot contained various dangerous and banned weapons, including not only depleted uranium munitions, but also cluster munitions. It's well known that the West has been supplying this type of dangerous weapon to Ukraine for years, despite constant Russian warnings not to cross such humanitarian red lines. Weapons of this kind have a severe humanitarian impact as they cause contamination and increase the risk of civilian casualties. But they don't care. They absolutely don't care. So I'll let you read the rest on your own. I think you get the point, but that's essentially what the Ukrainians are doing now. They could care less about their citizens. They could care less. So now they're going to go ahead and hide depleted uranium and cluster munitions inside of suburbs where, of course, women and children can get maimed from them or radiation poisoning or a combination thereof. Unbelievable. But that's war. War is hell. That's why it shouldn't be fought. That's why it shouldn't happen. But it will until Jesus Christ returns, unfortunately. So I can't wait for that day. Oh, come soon, Lord Jesus. I'm worn out. I don't know about you guys, but man, it just gets crazier and crazier every day. Everything keeps just accelerating at a rapid pace, whether it's the wars, the earthquakes, the volcanoes. I mean, it's going off everywhere. Deadly bacteria, rare bacteria showing up from a data center, and in Wyoming, a meta data center, some kind of rare bacteria showing up. I mean, it's just one thing after another, right? That's why they call it tribulation. Whew. Anyway, moving on to another story that I found. One of the reasons I should say Russia is attacking Kiev like this and attacking Ukraine like this is because of what's been going on in Russia with all of these drone attacks on fuel refineries and all over the country of Russia. That's what's been happening. And now, because of that, you see these huge gas lines, gas station queues in Russia after the largest refinery was attacked near Moscow. And then, like I said, Ukraine's been attacking other refineries throughout the country, causing gas queues in other places as well, including Crimea, which actually cut off fuel to the civilian population for a little while and only allowed government vehicles to fuel up. I don't know if that's still in place or not, but that was about a week or a week and a half ago. So the gas lines are getting longer in Russia because of all these Ukrainian attacks. So Russia is stepping up their attacks on Ukraine as well. And now we have this from Ukraine. Zero impact, zero gains, nothing changed. The Ukrainian army admits deep strikes into Russia. Well, that gamble failed. Frontline troops and commanders speaking candidly to Ukrainian media admit that the heavily hyped drone strikes deep into Russia have yielded zero results. Well, I don't know about that. Gas lines. And failed to translate into any tangible advantage on the battlefield. Well, that's true. Troops from Ukraine's 19th Corps fighting along this axis said they've felt previously no effect whatsoever from all these so-called deep strikes. Nothing on the ground, no relief, no shift, no respite. So all these attacks on the refineries into Russia have had no effect on the front lines. That's essentially what this is saying. And so they say paratroopers managed to push roughly 10 kilometers into Russian-held positions, but stiff resistance soon stonewalled their advance, prompting Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Sikorsky after a recent visit to announce a tactical reset in the sector. And also, I found this kind of surprising. Ukrainian drone operators are struggling to operate inside the city as they're being hunted relentlessly by Russian forces, and by their own account, losses among UAV crews have become utterly severe. I find that very interesting. Apparently, Russia's been hunting down the Ukrainian drone operators. That's got to strike some fear into them. So, well, there you go. That's it for this particular episode. Just wanted to give you guys some updates on the wars and rumors of wars. And then also wanted to show you this one too that I put up over on the community tab on the YouTube channel, about how the Jews are aliens who came here to conquer planet Earth, how a leading Kabbalist, radical racist theology connects the dots to the rapid global enforcement of the Noahide laws. Will this be a part of the fake alien invasion they have planned? That's a question I have. The link is in the comments, and I put that right here. So you can check that out. It's Yana Banoon again, who's got a rabbi that she's quoting, saying that the Jews are aliens and they're over and above every race on the earth because we're inferior to them. And that's why they deserve to rule over us. And they're taking the gloves off now and they're coming out of the shadows with it. And the article I think you'll find very, very interesting. So make sure and check that out. And that will be it for now. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for all that we do. I put all kinds of stories here, over 3,500 now, and over the last 7 years that we just can't place anywhere else, like this one over here, this one over here, and many others just like it. So if you'd like to contact me or subscribe to the channel, you can click on this tab here. And Don't Speak News at Proton Mail is how you get in touch with me. And you just type in your email here, click on subscribe, and then you'll be notified every time there's a new posting. And then for channel support, if you'd like to support us, we are listener supported only. You can click on that tab. And all the links to support us are right here, including Cash App and Venmo. Thank you very much for that, guys, because without you, we would not be here. Rumble, BitChute, and Telegram, all the places to find us are right there. And there you go. That will be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.